Well, as per the findings of the latest report, you're likely to have the easiest time getting access to justice in the southern part of our country, while you may face the hardest challenges in the states of Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. These are the findings and a lot more from the India Justice Report. It ranks the states on delivery of justice based on performance on 4 pillars. That's police, judiciary, prisons and legal aid. Now, the India Justice Report, just for context, was initiated by the Tata Trusts in collaboration with Centre for Social Justice, Common Cause, Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Daksh, Tis Prayas, as well as Vidhi. Now, as we said at the very beginning, the report very clearly says that Karnataka is right on top of these rankings in terms of delivery of justice. It's followed closely by the states of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, which complete the top 5 sweep. Amongst the worst performers, however, there are the states of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, as well as West Bengals. These rank among the worst states, especially when counting the large and middle states. That's states with a population of more than 1 crore. Now, with respect to which are the states which have seen the biggest change, mind you, the previous edition of this report came back in 2022. So since the last 3 years, what are the big changes that we've seen? Well, the big changes, Gujarat's rank has fallen from 4th in 2022 to 11th in 2025. Meanwhile, Jharkhand has fallen from 7th all the way down to 15th. Now, the most improvement, meanwhile, has been recorded by states such as Bihar, Chhattisgarh, as well as Odisha. Now, moving forward, there are above and beyond these rankings of how the states have done. There are a number of indicators. As we said, there are 4 pillars on which this study assesses the performance of various states, and there are a number of key findings that have come out. Number one, and this is with representation of women, and this statistic is quite sharp. There are total police presence in the country is north of 20.3 lakh police force. What's interesting is that there are less than 1,000 women senior officers, that's of the rank of SP or the DGP, in this Indian police force of 20.3 lakh personnel. Not a single state or a union territory has been able to meet its own reserved quotas for women in the police force. Meanwhile, this is the number one issue which was highlighted as a part of this report. The number 2 issue that has been highlighted, and this is pertaining to vacancies. Exceedingly high numbers. High Court, the vacancy rate is 33% across various high courts. At the district judiciary level, this figure is a little modest, but still appallingly high at 21%. What's interesting is that India, as of right now, has a judge representation of 15 judges per million. As per a 1987 Law Commission recommendation, this should have been closer to 50 per million. Meanwhile, again, continuing with that theme of vacancies, police has vacancies of 28% as far as the officer levels are concerned and 21% when it comes to constables. And meanwhile, this is particularly important as far as forensic staff is concerned. This is one issue that this report is trying to drive home, that this 50% vacancy in the forensic staff means that not only does it slow down investigations, but it also delays decision-making by the judiciary as they don't have access to necessary information. Which brings us to point number 3, and this is with respect to how the prisons are operating in our country. An appalling statistic that has been thrown up by this report is that 176 prisons in our country are operating at an occupancy level of 200%. Meanwhile, the national average is an occupancy rate of 131%. In fact, what one of the authors pointed out while this report was being released is that these very conditions of increased occupancy rates, 200%, these numbers are the ones which get thrown up by the likes of Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi when they try to get favorable orders from other countries for avoiding of extradition proceedings by citing these very poor jail conditions. Meanwhile, speaking of these jail conditions, important also to highlight that 2/3 of the prisoners in our country are under trials, which means that 20% of under trials in 20 states have been in jail for 1 to 3 years. That's being in jail without even being convicted by an official court order. Which brings us to point number 4. What about representation of minorities? Well, at the district judiciary, this is a worrying figure. Only 5% of judges belong to STs and only 14% are from scheduled castes. This figure improves dramatically when it comes to police personnel. 59% of the police consist of personnel from SC, ST or OBC categories. So a number of important findings being thrown up by this justice report, and one of the key messages being sent out is that there's an urgent need felt to ramp up legal aid to ensure that some of these issues regarding access to justice are resolved in a meaningful way.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to CNBC TV 18. Make sure you follow us and stay updated on all our social media platforms.